What's up, Internet? I'm Igor, and today we're going to be taking apart an Empire prophecy. This is the first prophecy. This is not the 2.0, but I'll do a well, I didn't get it apart. What do you call it? A comparison between the 2.0 and the 2, or the 1, I guess. Okay, so yeah, you got the front half of your loader off. Just 2 tabs, very easy to pop off. Next part down here, yeah, there it goes, is this kind of this back face plate thingy. Kind of hard to pop off at times, but you can see I had a little bit of trouble there. Okay, so there's our front part, our back part and our front part. You'll notice I have a speed feed on here. I like it a lot. It doesn't lose that many balls, but again, it also loses balls, so there you go. Okay, next thing to do is pop off these 2 tabs. And you'll notice that there's a little piece here, which I believe on the second, the 2.0, is actually stainless or aluminum, I guess it is. And I guess that somehow keeps it from breaking, which I could see, but then again, you might actually crush your shell. Okay, so we got our 2 halves off. And this part is just the bottom part where the balls would sit on top of. And then our battery pack, which this battery pack is the same thing out of a Halo. Next thing we got is kind of the raceway part of the raceway sort of thing. And once you got it down to about here, you can clean up your raceways and whatnot, which is always a nice thing to do. Our next thing to do is we gotta pop these parts out, which are kind of like retainer tabs, like these. And you'll see that they're the same thing. Pardon me, that they're kind of difficult to pop out is what more or less I meant in the sense of these. When you first get them, they're kind of difficult to get out. But these tabs down here, it says that it's toolless, but in fact, you actually would need a tool to remove these tabs, which is somewhat difficult. I don't recommend doing this if you don't need to. So take a flathead screwdriver. In this case, something blunt. This is a craft knife, but it's all the way inside, so it won't actually cut this thing apart. You just kind of pull up and push in towards yourself, so you can get it to pop out. And you got to do that 3 times. Try not to mess up your board while doing it. I'll try to get this one first, because usually if you get 2 out, it's a little bit easier to get the 3rd out, but sometimes that's not true. Okay, oh, of course. And another thing you actually have to do before you can get that apart is you gotta pull this off. So, I think it actually might be a little bit more difficult now. Okay, no, never mind. Came off relatively easily. This is the rip drive, and there's just one retainer cap holding it on, which you also would need another tool to get off, in fact. And you'll see we get right down to the motor. And this is actually, it seems to be the same sort of setup as halos and inverts. Of course, this is Empire, which is the mother company of invert and halo. So, okay, well, we got our bearings down here. Just a normal gear, usual parts seems to be. Very few moving gears, if you would. Only 2 gears and 1 sprocket and a belt, unlike some of the other loaders out there. Now, I've had the pleasure to use the rotor and the Pinocchio, and obviously this thing. Personally, for me, this is my favorite loader. Not only is it $89, $99, but it's very, very easy to take apart, easy to use. In the Pinocchio's case, you usually, again, my own personal opinion, you have to get the upgraded board in it for it to be like on the same level as the super loaders, but that's just me, yet again. And for the rotor's like 160, and it does the same thing as a prophecy, just the prophecy's cheaper. And made by Empire. Now, Dye's rotor, don't get me wrong, is very nice. I just think it's overpriced. Nice thing about the rotor is there's a lot of different speed feeds besides just the one that the company makes, which is the same is in the case of the prophacy. Like, you can only buy the company's speed feed. So, and it's a nice speed feed, and there's no other reason why you need any other speed feed. Okay, to get these retainer tabs back in, just push them back in and push down with your thumb at the same time, and it'll pop back in. Okay, let's put back on our rip drive and make sure that the longer side's going in towards your loader, bottom end of your loader. Okay, and just usually get that started, and then take a tool or something hard at least and push it on there. Okay. Next thing, try to speed up this video a little bit. Get this piece back in here, and it's easy, smooth, or that was kind of a mix-up of phrases. It's smooth sailing from here on out. Okay. So you're gonna want to pop this back in, keep the front, put the front one on first, match up the sides, push them in a little bit, match up everything, like those parts and whatnot. Make sure they're not overhanging each other. Next part's going to be your two halves. Now, the first few times you'll do this will be the more difficult part, but this in fact is actually pretty easy. All you have to do is take your tab on the inside. You'll notice there's a tab on the inside of the shell that just lines up with this clear plastic part while pushing that down, and it will literally just sit back on top of each other. And you'll notice right here there's a part, kind of push it in so it becomes flush. If you don't do this right, your loader will jam, but other than that, you will never have a problem with jamming. So I think I did that right. Yeah, no, I did. Okay, make sure that all of this part, feel it with your finger, and you can usually tell that it's flush up against the side of your shell. And do the same thing with the other side. Try not to disturb the other half of the shell. Just kind of go from the side, hook it up, and slide it over. And you'll hear a little snap, and then you can just take your finger and push against it on the other side to make sure it's in place. And you'll notice that it's flush on that side and flush on that side. Okay, and there we are. Just messed it up. Okay, I missed it a little bit on this side. And there it goes. And I just have the tabs inside. You'll notice also that there's a tab on this side and a piece for it to fit over on this side. And just make sure they're in the right way. This would be the time where you'd put in your lid. So there you go. Next part you want to put on so you make sure it doesn't fall apart on you is your back piece here. Get the top tab lined up and then push in from the back, and this will pop right in. Perfect, beautiful. Last little piece to go in there is your raceway thingy. Line it up and